This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. Domestic Cookery, Useful Recipes, and Hints to Young Housekeepers by Elizabeth E. Lee. Section 9. Cakes. Remarks on making and baking cake. The materials for making cake should be of the best quality, as your success very much depends on it. Flour should be dried and sifted, sugar rolled fine, spices pounded and sifted. Where brown sugar is used, it should be spread on a dish and dried before rolling it. I have known very good pound cake made with brown sugar, also jumbles, etc. Persons that make their own butter sometimes use it fresh from the churn, which prevents the necessity of washing the salt out of it for cake, and it mixes more readily than hard butter. Currants should be picked over, washed and dried. Raisins should be stemmed and stoned. When these preparations are made the day before, it is a great assistance. Eggs should be fresh, or they will not beat light. In beating the whites, take a broad flat dish and beat them until you can hold the dish upside down. This is a test of their lightness. A large bowl is best for mixing and beating cake. You must use your hand for mixing the sugar and butter, and as you add the other ingredients, you may take a large wooden spoon. Beat it some time after it is all mixed. The oven should be ready to bake immediately, as standing makes cake heavy. A brick oven is the most certain, and over your pans of cake you should spread several layers of newspaper to prevent its browning too suddenly. Cake requires more time than bread. A large cake should stay in the oven from 1.5 hours to 2 hours, turning and looking at it from time to time. When you think it is sufficiently baked, stick a broad, bright knife in the center. If it is dry and free from dough when having drawn out, the cake is likely to be done, though sometimes this is not a certain test, and you will have to draw a little from the center of the cake with the knife. A broom straw will sometimes answer in a small cake instead of a knife. A large stone pan with a cover is the best for keeping cake, or a large covered bowl. Icing for cake. Roll and sift a pound of loaf sugar, whip the whites of 3 eggs, put in the sugar gradually, and beat it for half of an hour. If it is so thick that it will not run, put in some rose water, let the cake be nearly cool, dry it in an oven that is nearly cool. Another way. Put the white of 1 egg and a little rose water into a half a pound of pulverized sugar, and heat them together till they stand. When it is nearly light enough, add a few drops of lemon juice, or a small portion of tartaric acid, dissolved in a little water. It must be beaten in a bowl which has never had anything greasy in it, either cream or butter. The cake must have a little flour sifted over it, and wiped off with a towel. Then cover it with a thin coat of the icing, set it under the stove or in a place that's a little warm, and let it harden. Then add the second coat thicker. This will be perfectly white, but the first is always dark and has crumbs through it. A rich fruit cake. Have the following articles prepared before you begin the cake. Dry and sift 4 pounds of flour, 4 pounds of butter with the salt washed out, 2 pounds of loaf sugar pounded, 1 ounce of nutmegs grated, an ounce of mace pounded. Wash 4 pounds of currants, dry, pick and rub them in flour. Stone and cut 2 pounds of raisins, slice 2 pounds of citron, blanch a pound of sweet almonds and cut them in very thin slices. Break 30 eggs, separate the whites and yolks and beat them till very light. Work the butter with your hand till it's soft as cream. Put in alternately the flour, sugar and eggs. When all are mixed in and the cake looks very light, add the spice, fruit, almonds and a half a pint of brandy. Set it in a well-heated oven to bake. When it has risen and the top is beginning to brown, cover it with paper. Let it bake 4 hours, and when it is nearly cool, ice it. This will keep a long time in a stone pan covered close. A cheaper fruit cake. Take 4 pounds of flour, 3 of butter, 3 of sugar, 2 of raisins, 1 of currants, 2 dozen eggs, an ounce of mace, 3 nutmegs, and a half pint of brandy. If you want it dark, put in a little molasses. Mix the ingredients together as the above fruit cake, and bake it from 2 to 3 hours. Fruit or plum cake. Dry and sift a pound of flour, roll a pound of sugar and beat with it a pound of butter. Add the yolks of 10 eggs well beaten. Wash and dry a pound of currants and rub them in flour. Stone and cut a half pound of raisins, and mix in with a glass of rose brandy, and a grated nutmeg or mace. When all the rest are well mixed together, beat up the whites of the eggs and add them. Bake it 1.5 hours. Pound cake. Wash the salt from a pound of butter and beat with it a pound of loaf sugar till it is as soft as cream. Have a pound of flour sifted and beat 10 eggs, the whites and yolks separately. Put alternately into the butter and sugar the flour and eggs. Continue to beat until they are all in and the cake looks light. Add some grated lemon peel, a nutmeg, and half a wineglass of brandy. Butter the pan and bake it an hour. When it is nearly cold, ice it. If you want a very large cake, double the quantity. You can tell when a cake is done by running in a broom straw or the blade of a bright knife. If it comes out without sticking, it is done, but if not, set it back. You can keep a cake a great while in a stone pan that has a lid to fit tight. White cake. Beat the whites of 20 eggs. Wash the salt out of a pound of butter. Sift a pound of flour. Roll a pound of loaf sugar. Blanch a pound of almonds. Roll them fine with a bottle and mix them with rose water. Work the butter, sugar, and almonds together till they look like cream. Have the eggs beaten very light and add them and the flour alternately till you get it all in. Beat the whole together till it is very light. Have a pan buttered and put it in a heated oven to bake. When it begins to brown, put white paper over the top. Bake it about 3 hours. When it is nearly cold, prepare an icing, flavored with rose water. Put it on the top and sides. Washington cake. Take a pound and 3/4 of sugar, the same of flour, 3/4 of a pound of butter, half pint of milk, and mix them as a pound cake. Just as it is ready to bake, dissolve a teaspoonful of saleratus in a little sour cream, and stir in. Season with nutmeg and rose brandy or essence of lemon. Bake it as a pound cake. Some persons put in a teaspoon of lemon juice just before baking. Madison cake. Take a pound and 1/4 of flour and the same of sugar and butter, 5 eggs, a pound of raisins and 1 of currants, 2 glasses of wine or brandy, mace, nutmeg, and a teaspoonful of saleratus dissolved in a pint of new milk. Bake it as a pound cake. Indian pound cake. Take 3/4 of a pound of Indian meal sifted, 1/4 of wheat flour, roll a pound of sugar, work into it 3/4 of a pound of butter, season with nutmeg and rose brandy, add 4 eggs beaten light, mix and bake as other pound cake. Rice flour pound cake. Take 7 eggs, a pound of rice flour, 1 of sugar, a half a pound of butter, season it with rose water and nutmeg, mix and bake it as other pound cake, and ice it. Sponge cake. Balance 12 fresh eggs with sugar and 6 with flour. Beat the eggs very light, the whites and yolks separately. Mix alternately the sugar and eggs, and add the grated peel of a lemon. Butter a large pan, or several smaller ones. Add the flour just as it is put in the oven, stirring it just sufficiently to mix. Beating it after the flour is added makes it heavy. Pour it in and put it to bake as soon as possible. This makes a good pudding with white sauce. 1/2 rice flour is an improvement. Rice sponge cake. Take 3/4 of a pound of rice flour, 1 pound of white sugar finely powdered, and 10 eggs. Beat the yolks with the sugar, the whites alone. Add them and the flour to the yolks and sugar, a little at a time. Season it with rose brandy and nutmeg. Bake it in shallow pans. Sponge cake in small pans. Take 12 eggs with the weight of them in sugar, and the weight of 6 of them in flour. Beat the yolks with the sugar, the whites alone. Season with nutmeg or grated lemon peel. Put all together, adding the flour last. Stir it quickly after the flour is added, as it will make it heavy to beat it much. Grease several small pans and pour it in. Bake with a quick heat, and they will be done in half an hour, or less according to the size. They are pretty iced. Lemon sponge cake. Take 10 eggs, separate them, a pound of loaf sugar, half a pound of flour, the grated peel of 2 lemons and the juice of 1. Beat the yolks with the sugar, the whites alone, then add them and sift in the flour by degrees. Beat well. Have your pan buttered and bake with a quick heat, either in a stove or Dutch oven or a brick oven. The heat should be not quite so great as for light bread. It will bake in about an hour. Cupcake. Take 4 cups of flour, 3 of sugar, 1 of melted butter, 1 of sour cream, with a teaspoonful of saleratus dissolved in it. Add 3 eggs, season it with brandy and nutmeg, mix and bake as a pound cake.